Well, our next step is to set up Git as your version control system. Before we talk about Git, let's try to understand the problem of the existing company. I mean, the company has hired you as an engineer, DevOps engineer. So what problem they faced regarding their source code repository and their version controlling? Well, talking about the existing issue, let's take a scenario where you want to write a code with a group of people. Suppose there is a dev team, they have assigned a dev team, and the dev team is responsible to create and develop and maintain a code and the code base. All right, that you're working on a one module. Complete infrastructure will be containing a lot of modules and a lot of code structures. Given you have been given a task where you have to improvise some module or add some features or delete some modifications, these are needed. Okay. Similarly, your other team members, they have also been assigned some modules to work upon. So once you are done with your model, once you're done with modifications, and while you are integrating your code to the main code base, so that integration with your code with your other team members may or may not happen. Usually what scenario happens whenever group of people write their code and they commit their code, so what happens, so your code should be merged to your repository, that is your code repository. So there might be a lot of merge conflicts. There are some tools in market like RTZ and all. They have auto merge conflicts. They can fix the merge in. They have auto resolve issues. They can just fix the issues automatically where it is needed. So your code might or might not be merged with your fellow teammates code, and if it doesn't work, then it's because your way of writing code is different, their way of writing code is different, so they are using different methods and calls, they are using different functions. There's some dependency between your two, and there are some issues which has to be fixed by admins. Because what admin will do in this situation, admin will talk to both the code developers, and they will check, okay, see, this line is missing, or you have to fix this dependency issues there with this SIR or with this defect. So they'll be working on this, and in this situation you have to keep in contact with all the developers who are working on the modules with having the same code or with the same code repository. So you have to be very careful, and you have to be very open to all those developers, and you need to talk to them, and it creates a lot of mess because this is not an automatic process. Because suppose if you're working in a different time zone, so collaborating with them will be like really tough. This scenario is like difficult to handle. So to fix this scenario, we have version control system. Now what version control system will do, it will keep track of all your changes, whatever you have made in your system. Not only you, whatever changes your developer or your team members or any members working on the same code they have done, the version control system will take care of, take the records, what have been done and what changes they have been doing. So if you are using version control system, it can be tracked what all changes are made. And assume you're working on a piece of code and you're typing, trying to improvise it, but in process you break down the entire code. Suppose you are giving a module and working in a module, because from the version control you are given some piece of module. You're writing a module, and when you're improvising it, and when you are implementing the on into your main source, so what you are doing, you're implementing and you are just committing all your changes to your main source file. So unfortunately, by doing this, there are some dependencies and your whole code structure breaks down. Your whole application will break down. So it creates a lot of issues and tensions. So in that situation, what you from version control, what you can do, version control is like you can go back to your old version, where that is, you can say, the stable version where you have given stable code. So you can undo the changes. So each time you commit to the main repository, it will create a version. Suppose version 3.0 was stable one, and now you are doing version 3.1, which breaks down the entire code. So what you will do, you will just come back, you will implement version 3.0. So in this situation, code will be stable, and you don't need to worry about a lot of things. And also you will see from version control system, you will see a lot of people how they are doing their changes, and you don't need to keep track of all those things from the machine only, version control system only. You will see what line of code has been modified and who has modified it and when it has been modified, so that there won't be dependencies. To fix, in earlier scenario, to fix all those things, it used to take months to overcome all those issues, and it used to be a lot of troublesome, and a lot of time it used to be consumed. version control, once it came in the market, it has fixed all those issues. We'll see now. We'll tell you we are using Git as a version control system. This is one of the type of version control system which you can say totally there are three type of version control system. One is your local, then comes your centralized, and then comes your distributed. Git is your distributed control system. Git is distributed. I hope you might have a basic understanding of this. Just to reiterate, distributed means each one will have a local copy of the repository. So main difference basically between your centralized and distributed is like in centralized version control, you are just copying, taking a piece of code from the central repository, not an entire repository. But in distributed version control, you are taking a complete copy of the software system in your local repository, and you complete and develop a code there, and then you comment it. So this is the major difference. I won't be taking much time in defining this, because I expect you guys to have a little bit of knowledge on this. Now let's go and create GitHub. So GitHub is like a cloud repository where you are omitting and committing all those changes, and this will be like cloud thing. And the thing what developer will be using is like GitLab, Git thing, that will be their local copies and their editing. So and whatever they have edited, once they are modified, they need to comment it and they need to push it. Once it is pushed, it will be gone to your GitHub. Now let's get started and quickly create a GitHub repository, GitHub lab I mean. So just write www.hub.com. Although I have my own account, but for this purpose I will create my another account. Alright, now it is asking for sign up. So sign up process will be simpler. You need to type a username, so just mention any fancy username like Saturn rings. So it's rings is like, oh, it's available. So Saturn, okay, strings someone has taken. So how about double S? Double S is available. All right. So and email is like, it will be my email. Okay, now password, you can just set any password. I'm setting my own password here. Now sign up for GitHub. What it will do, it will create your account, and it will send the details to your email address for verification. You have to verify it here only, so you have to fix a puzzle. Let's click OK. So you have to make this good. So your account has been verified. I don't need preferences, so join a free plan. So once this is done, now you are into your GitHub. You see this, and this is the official logo of GitHub. Now you have to choose all these things, like what kind of work do you do mainly. So I am software engineer, I write code. Now how much programming experience you have? I have a moderate amount. And what do you and what's your plan for using GitHub for? So it's usually for, mention anything. I will run schoolwork and students project, you can just mention what I'm mentioning here. Interested in language, that's okay. So this will complete your setup, and there is one email verification has been sent to my mail, which I will be like, I have to accept, and this in this situation your email will be verified. Then what we will do, we'll create a repository and we'll have a code deployed in the repository, and in this way our GitHub account will be set up for a primary basis of our case study.